I open the service with a prayer, and I open this prayer with what I know to be the most potent words that we can speak. Thank you. Thank you for another Sunday together. Thank you for another autumn to celebrate. Thank you for the closeness we feel, the oneness we experience, and every relationship we make as we meet here each week. Thank you for every success and every lesson that we learn. From that, each lesson, each success brings us greater expression and greater experience. Continuing this prayer, I recognize that there is only one God, known by many names, but still only one Father, Mother, Parent, Creator of the one life. And that life is perfect, complete, and divine. And it is my life now and the life of all people, all animals, all nature, everyone here, out there, everywhere. And all of us coming together as one family. So from a place of welcoming another new season into our life, I declare our hearts and minds open as we show up here this morning to learn the spiritual principles that form the foundation of our faith and to trust what we know is true of God within us today, tomorrow, and eternally. And so it is. Well, good morning. You're looking beautiful today. I am Pat Ferguson, your practitioner spiritual director for 2022. And today we wind up the month of September and our metaphysical thoughts around work, following our dreams, and even failing with flair. Because sometimes we do get detoured by doubts, flustered by fears, excuse me, and it seems we can trip over our own dreams. But Spirit has all the answers for us. In fact, Spirit is the answer. Vicky has a great talk prepared today, and with that will come some useful tips about accepting those answers with confident trust and abiding faith. And that's a tall order, but I know she's up to it. As is my custom, I open my morning prayers before service for the day and for the week ahead, and I light that God candle and give it instructions to welcome you. And I hope it is the first thing you notice as you pop into the Zoom room, that it is always there and lit. And welcome you we do, no matter what denomination you came from or were brought up in, or even if this is your first faith experience. All are welcome here. And the most important thing for you to know is that you are welcome here. There it is. Okay. And now, if you would say with me our mission statement: to teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind, and celebrating all paths to God. And our vision statement: a world that honors and respects all people. So let's get this party started with our opening song, Look for the Good by Jason Mraz.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone and celebrate all our mistakes if there's a silver lining. You still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are. You're just like me. I see you're searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are. I'm just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying, when it gets frightening. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature. Everyone is God. Everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good. Look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes and maybe they should. Look for the good. Look for the good. Yeah, look out for all the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good. Look for the good. Life sure would be sweeter if everybody would. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the good in everything. Look for the good. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone.
All right, I'm gonna miss Jason this is his last week as our opening song. I persevere with the strength of spirit within me. Welcome with me, the practitioner of the week, Tammy Ellis, for our spiritual reading and meditation. Tammy?
Good morning, everyone. The reading and meditation are from this September's monthly guide for spiritual living by Jeffin Seeley. This is called Lessons from a Power Strip. And the first quote he has is by Dalai Lama. and by the Dalai Lama, our prime purpose in life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. And then the next quote he has is from Ernest Holmes' book, The Essential Ernest Holmes. The life we live is the universal life expressing through us. In today's connected world, we all use surge protectors or power strips. There's a cable on one end that you plug into the outlet in your wall, and the strip gives you multiple outlets to power your devices. When we plug in this power strip into the wall, we likely don't think, well, I hope there's power that will help bring power to my other devices that I plug into this strip. Instead, we trust, and when we plug in the strip, we know there's power flowing through it, and it'll bring power to whatever device we plug it in. The question then is whether you live your life similarly to the power strip. Weird question, I know, but follow me on this one. Do you remain plugged into Source by way of your spiritual practice and internal knowing that you can at any time tap into this ever-present divine energy? And once you're tapped in and connected, do you use the energy flowing through you to help empower the people and environments around you? Just like the power strip, giving your divine energy to others does not deplete the divine energy within you. There is no limit on this ever-present power flowing through you. Similarly, we need not question if the divine energy is flowing through us, just as we would not question if the power strip had power flowing through it once it's plugged in. Today, I encourage you to recognize the infinite energy within and use it to empower others. Now, as we move into the meditation space, I encourage you just to relax your whole physical self even more, wherever you're sitting or lying. And I invite you, if you'd like, to take a deep breath in after each phrase that I'll be saying. If you so choose, to use that breath as an action step to acknowledge how each of them is operating in you now already and continuing to expand. So let's all take a nice deep breath in and release. I am intentional in the co-creation of my life. And take a nice deep breath in. I am conscious and aware of the direction I am taking in my life. The divine guides me. And another breath in. I am a beacon of light and love. I inspire the world around me. Breathing in. I recognize the endless possibilities and blessings, and I am a blessing to the world. I share my gifts with the world, consciously and compassionately. Breathing in. I am the change I wish to see on our planet. Breathing in. I allow myself to experience peace in everything I do, in my purpose in this world. Breathing in. And now as we move from meditation, we know that at any point of our day, any of our days that comes up in this next week and in the future, we can simply choose to take a nice deep breath in and let any of these words operate within and through us.
I am Vicky Jeter, a practitioner for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. And as you know, today we're talking about following and realizing our dreams. And I have a lot I want to share, so I'm just going to dive right in. Sunday before last, we talked about your divine vocation. I said, when you're in prayer and meditation, when you come to the still small voice, you can know not only that it's the voice of spirit within, but also that voice expresses your authentic divine vocation, that seed of perfect purpose for you being that came with you into this life. This perspective also encompasses what we've been learning about the importance of connecting to nature and living in alignment with your own nature. Strengthening that connection and coming to trust it allows for feeling fulfilled and at ease. Being in touch with nature and your own true nature is what Taoists call the way. Each of us has our own way, a unique way of being in the world within us. Taoists call each person's unique way of being in the world Pooh. As some of you may recall that this is where our beloved Winnie the Pooh comes from. Winnie the Pooh lives each day by his natural way. Pooh is a wonderful current expression, modeling how letting himself just be and letting the world just be around him opens the way for divine right action, unfolding in, through, and as each individual and all of us as a whole. Excuse me. For us here, because we have been immersed in Western ways of thinking, it's most significant to recognize that trusting our natural way will likely not look anything like what we think it should as far as how it happens. And that's one of the things that tends to hold us up. People make mistakes. Worse yet, I make mistakes. Oh my God. You make mistakes. Yes, in human terms, mistakes happen all the time. However, this is perhaps the most important point in practice to recall: spirit does not make mistakes. I want to say that again. Spirit doesn't make mistakes. Spirit is first cause, the first cause and only cause of all creation. And all of creation is effect. The effects of our lives are not cause. Spirit maximizes everything for the greatest good. Spirit's natural way of life often looks like chaos and feels totally out of our control, which again is part of what makes us kind of get off track and lose it a little bit. When we cannot see it in form, spirit is moving in the unseen. As the scripture says, this comes from Hebrews 11:1, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. This is really significant because when we have those synchronistic moments that don't look related like to what we're dreaming about at all, when we can take those moments and have faith to that feeling that says, yes, I'm on track. This is what that scripture is talking about. When we can look at the unseen in what we're looking for, but we feel it coming, and we say, yes, I'm going to have faith in that. Trusting the way is an advanced course in learning to trust the process. Genevieve Barron wrote the book, Your Invisible Power, on the art of following our dreams. She said, when following the path of your heart, leave no stone unturned, regardless of how unlikely this step may be in appearances. One of the pivotal steps she took in realizing her dream of becoming a protege of Judge Thomas Troward, who was a mentor of Ernest Holmes, led her to be accepted by someone because a cat was comfortable in her presence and jumped up on her lap. Now, that sounds like it makes no sense whatsoever, but it was an extraordinary moment. And when that happened and this man then accepted her, and she said, I know my dream is coming about. Then last week, Reverend Patrick Saran took us on a wonderful adventure into joy, keeping our perspectives on work and balance. He said, Spirit implanted us before we were born with a little heart-shaped bundle right near our hearts. It's wrapped in ribbons. There's a unicorn poking out. There's a little inner child who is just so festive and happy and joyous. Our bundle of joy is as much a part of us as consciousness, our oneness, and love. Unwrapping our bundle of joy releases our natural effervescence and spontaneity, playfulness, and imagination. So, innate within the essence of our very being, each of us has our purpose for being, our perfect natural way of being, and a treasure trove of joy to be herein. Clearly, we have all that we need to live the life we prefer and build our dreams. Each of us was intended and indeed beautifully and wonderfully made. And we absolutely cannot fail because spirit wastes nothing. No matter what the apparent human foible or travesty might be, spirit will always emerge through it as the greatest possible good. Hence, we've all had our own experience of silver linings, and that's where that saying comes from. So, why does it so often not feel that way? What's the holdup? The personal specifics of why each of us has our struggles with questioning what we're here for and why we can't just be ourselves is a puzzle for each of us to solve. In universal principle, it goes something like this. One of the most accurate terms for energy and consciousness is the Chinese term qi. Qi is the energy that binds all of creation together, even all forms of energy. Your consciousness, your spirit, your soul are qi energy. The nature of energy is flow. Qi energy flows like a river, in, through, and as everything in creation. When we can allow our true nature, our qi flows uninhibited. Experiences of harmonious relationships result. When we subject ourselves to actions that meet the approval of others, but not ourselves, or when we berate ourselves for those natural mistakes, when we try to force ourselves like a square peg into a round hole, it blocks up qi. It bottles it up, squelches it, and there we go. Now we have a problem. One of my favorite applications of principle we learned from Reverend Carolyn is to ask myself, does this thought, feeling, choice, or action feel restricted, or does it feel free? If it feels free, it is of spirit. This is one simple and effective way to investigate where and how there are blocks in the ways that we are concealing our own divine vocation and our bundle of joy. The Chinese practice of Qigong and Tai Chi are all about consciously learning to work with Qi. Another distinction to keep in mind is that the challenges life presents along the way are not the blocks. Challenges are necessary opportunities for growth and expansion. Blocks are experiences that bring us about the feeling of separation from spirit and good. Now, I have a story to share that is a wonderful, true example of someone I knew, Tony Hernandez, who lived according to his natural way and how it brought about his dreams manifest. He was a major influence on the dreams of other people in the story as well. Tammy Sheets, our practitioner today, also knew this beautiful man and experienced this story as it unfolded personally. As the story progresses, listen for the elements we're talking about. This is truly significant to where we all are today right now, because Tony brought to me confirmation from Spirit that Vernon would be coming into my life long before I had actually met him. It is because of Vernon's life path that we came to Louisville. As this story unfolds, you may say, anything could have happened. You're right. Anything can happen. The important thing to note, though, is that through all the people in the story, Spirit meets us where we show up. And this is true of you as well. Spirit meets us where we show up in consciousness and in our feelings. I know the moment that I will tell you about when Tony embodied for me a message from Spirit was that kind of significant, because that's how it felt, and that's where I put my faith and trust. It didn't matter that I didn't actually see Vernon yet, but I could feel it in this one thing that moved through the beautiful man. And from there, one unfolding led to the next for me, for Vernon, and for Tony. Now, the opportunity for any of this to happen at all began with a life vision of a man named Dick Schaefer and his wife, Carolyn Schaefer. Together, they had an entrepreneurial spirit and the heart of service to their family and their community. The central location for this story is the Schaefer's restaurant called the Potato Patch in Houston, Texas. It was about 4 miles from my house and opened in 1986, about a year before my divorce from my first husband. Potato Patch sign, please. As a business owner, Mr. Schaefer held the door open to his vision of good in the world to any seeker who crossed his path. He would hold small meetings or have individual conversations with people seeking support to build a better life for themselves right in the middle of the restaurant. If you caught on to something that they were saying and you wanted to join in, you were welcome to pull up a chair, which I did on a few occasions. The Potato Patch was a spacious restaurant with lots of windows and authentic down-home cooking. Restaurant picture, please. While you were seated and waiting for your order, servers would come around with big tubs of fresh green fried green tomatoes, breaded okra, and pans of homemade blueberry and strawberry muffins. All of this at no additional charge. Mr. Schaefer did it because he knew it was so different, so unique, that it would give customers something to tell their friends and family about. But the signature offering in this plan that would make the Schaefers and the Potato Patch locally famous was the homemade yeast rolls, not just because they were melt in your mouth delicious and you could smell them all the way from the parking lot, but because Mr. Schaefer encouraged his staff to throw the hot rolls to his customers, like playing catch with a baseball. It made sharing a meal with family and friends there a blast. When it began, not even Mr. Schaefer knew that the fun had only just begun and a miracle waited in the wings. Now, just about the time the Potato Patch was becoming quite well known, my first marriage ended. Almost overnight, I took to going to the Potato Patch as often as 3 to 5 times a week because it made for really good balanced meals that I could fit into my budget, and I loved the atmosphere, and the staff came to look forward to my coming in. It was perfect. Mr. and Mrs. Schaefer would tease me that I was a shareholder. One day, I came in on my regular schedule and met Antonio Hernandez for the first time. Tony was from a small town in Mexico. He immigrated here following his dream of a better life for his wife and his sister. That first day that he'd been hired, he did not speak any English. He could not write or read English. And because of that, he couldn't be a server. Even working in the kitchen would have had challenges for the other employees. He might have bussed tables, but Mr. Schaefer had a hunch and asked Tony if he would like to try pitching hot rolls to the customers. And a match was made in heaven. Tony pitched rolls like the corners of the dining rooms were the corners of a baseball diamond. He threw underhanded, overhanded, fastballs, lofted balls. Whatever was a match for the intended customer, Tony would pitch like turning a dial. Was he worried about not speaking English? He never gave it a thought. Totally trusting and valuing his own nature, he just taught us all the most enthusiastic words in Spanish while he was pitching instead. He would catch your eye and nod or wink at you to gauge what pitch you'd like. Then he'd yell in Spanish like a cheer. Everyone in the restaurant would repeat Tony's cheer, watching to see if the receiver would catch the roll. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a picture of Tony, so I had to get a little creative with this and a little fun. So, Vernon, now the pictures of the roll throwers.
Number one.
And so there's one, and now the next one. This guy has a little bit more enthusiasm for what he's doing. Now, come on up with the next one. Now this, if you put together that image of Charles Bronson with the roll throwers, you have Tony. Tony was like Charles Bronson in a roll throwers getup. Now, the combination of all this spontaneous fun and endless laughter with all the good food created a miraculously generative atmosphere that caught on like wildfire, not only for the community, but certainly for the people that were participating in this. Within months, the Schaefers expanded their waiting area for both lunch and dinner. The next thing I knew, signs went up paying respect to what was drawing all the consistent crowds. The potato patch became known as the home of throwed rolls. And that there is a picture of Mr. Schaefer's grandson who took over the restaurant. Mr. Schaefer is, well, neither Mr. or Mrs. Schaefer are with us now, but that's his grandson. And they added a caricature of Tony to the menu that looks like this. And this you'll have to look a little closely, but at the very top of the menu, you see the little guy throwing the rolls? That didn't used to be the case. That ended up on there after all this blossoming out had taken place. Well out in the open, Mr. Schaefer made sure Tony knew he was the harbinger of such incredible good fortune. This was most interesting because every day I could see how Tony's influence was opening possibilities for the other employees too. Some of them were up for catching the wave. Some of them were guarded. Some of them were resentful of the attention Tony was getting just by being who he was. Mr. and Mrs. Schaefer knew that Tony needed an opportunity to learn as much as possible. Now, I was not privileged to see exactly how all that happened, but over time, Tony became fluent in speaking, reading, and writing English. He came to be able to do almost everything in the restaurant, but most often he still threw the rolls, which made us long-timers smile. By now, Tony and I had become friends. There had been time for many short conversations, building to really knowing each other. As all of this carried forth over 5 years, I continued going to the potato patch several times a week, and I had been working with the intention to attract the perfect person to share my life with. I was developing within myself the qualities I knew I would like to have in a partner. So each day I would declare in treatment the relationship would be spiritually based, it would have to come to me, and I wanted it to feel of mutual high regard. I wanted someone who I knew how to treat me like a lady. One day, now this, you have to understand, this is, I came down to that clarity this 1 week, and this happened within this very week. One day, one very sacred, special afternoon, I came into the restaurant, and Tony met me at the door. He escorted me to my table. He pulled out my chair for me with a flair, took my hand and kissed it, gently pushed me in after I was seated and said, "May I take your order, my lady?" This was extraordinary, and I knew instantly it was my reflection from spirit. that the relationship I was cultivating and calling for was on its way. I knew that the actual experience of even just one piece, this one little piece of what it was, in spirit, was the whole manifestation. I had no way of knowing when this man that I was looking for would show up in the whole package, but I did know without doubt that he was on his way. Little did I know he was about 4 miles up the way in the other direction from where I was right at that moment, but we had no way of knowing that. That was in the fall of 1993. The following February, I met Vernon. He lived about 4 miles in the opposite direction from me from the potato patch, so that was about just 8 miles from me. In 1995, Tony let Mr. Schaefer know he was ready to take everything the Schaefers had made possible and open his own authentic Mexican restaurant with his sister. They were both fabulous cooks. In the winter of 1996, just weeks after Vernon and I married, we found Tony's restaurant and celebrated one of the most flatly amazing demonstrations any of us would ever be blessed to be a part of. Before all these connections, experiences, and outcomes first began, none of us would have guessed what was going to happen in any of our lives. Spirit truly emerges as the good in the moment by expected and unexpected means. This is true for you no matter where you've been, no matter where you're going in your life, no matter what's happening right now. It's what you choose to make it in the moment. Just keep your heading on following your dream, and Spirit takes care of the rest. So this week, give yourself permission to be and do things your way. Trust that if you embrace the simplest opportunity with passion and joy, Spirit will express so much more through you than you seem possible. Practice seeing the challenges as opportunities for growth and stretch your creative imagination. Think outside the box, color outside the lines. This brings you into your natural, effortless alignment with the extraordinary to manifest through you. I hope that was as much fun for you as it was for me. And I just invite us to take that breath, keep in touch with that spark, keep in touch with that bundle of joy as we recognize there is one. And that one is all of these sparks, all of these dreams. And collectively, we are on this journey together. And as I recognize it, we are unified. We are unified with Source individually and collectively in mind, heart, and soul. And from this alignment, I realize in my experience of each person within the sound of my voice right now or on this recording, as Spirit is timeless, timeless, that dreams are realized. They're always already in the law. We can't have them if they don't already exist. And so it's just about that courage to have that flow move through us and allow Spirit to emerge as what we were born to be. Thank you, thank you, thank you, presence of life. I release it with the heart of the child. I let it be, and so it is.
Vicky, that it was just so delightful to hear your how you have followed the power of your dream. Wow, you and Vernon, and so delightful to hear the story with Tony. Man, it's just remarkable. Wow, I just want to say wow. And I do remember going to the potato patch as well and having those rolls thrown to you. It was just such joy and fun in that restaurant. The meal was just enhanced by all the joy and the fun that they created. So wow, thank you for that. And that goes really well with our wonderful prosperity affirmation today. So I'll say it first, and then if we can all say it together. My prosperity is divinely supplied and generously shared. It works wonders in the world. And now let's say it together. My prosperity is divinely supplied and generously shared. It works wonders in the world. And Pat, will you please bless our offering?
Absolutely. One God, one life, and one supply. Thank you for being the light from within that halos our time, talents, and treasures, and causes us to understand that the flow of all three from us is the same flow that circles back to us multiplied. We are grateful to be blessed in such ways, both as a center and individually. So blessing the gift and the giver, and our center that is the blessed receiver. With great gratitude, I lift these words of appreciation into the law that only says yes, and I release them there to become evident. And so it is. Tammy?
And so it is. And we have some wonderful announcements this week for opportunities for you to join us some more. This Wednesday, you are all invited, anyone who would like to come to join us with the Zoom board meeting. So that'll be on the same Zoom link as we are on today. And that's this Wednesday, September 28th, 5 p.m., and that's Eastern Standard Time. And this Friday, we're going to have a movie. So thank you to Vernon and for helping us behind the scenes to do this. And the movie's going to be The Legend of Bagger Vance. If you have not seen this movie, it is fantastic. It's an amazing movie. If you have seen it, it'd be great to see it again. And there's going to be some discussion just about the parallels of how to just have a more abundant, amazing life. And so that's this Friday, September 30th. And that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I hope you can join us. And another opportunity is this Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, is visioning. And that's on Telebridge on the phone call. So you just dial this phone number in with the access code you see there. And so that's October. Ooh, it's going to be the first day of October. Yep, October 1st. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's for about 45 minutes. If you have joined Visioning, you know how amazing the process is about, again, enhancing our life. And if you have not had the chance to do Visioning yet, I really invite you to come. It's just an amazing experience. It's another great tool how to enhance and live our power of the dream. And our next announcement, next Sunday, October 2nd, our guest speaker will be Scott Q. Marcus. He's a prayer practitioner. That's the religious science practitioner, RScP on the end of his name. And a wonderful topic, it's going to be swimming in the infinite ocean. I'm going to be there because I love going to the ocean and listening to the waves. So that's a great, great topic. And if you are very invited just to stay with us after the closing song. We're going to have a sharing time afterwards. And if you'd like to share how you're doing or have questions or just kind of have general sharing with everybody, you're invited to do so. And let's just say to each other on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent.
Yes, you are magnificent. Join us for our closing song here. Think It, Dream It, Believe It, Do It by Karen Drucker.
Do Think it and dream it, believe it. I can do it. I can do it. Think it and dream it, believe it. I can do it. Think it and dream it, believe it. I can do it. Think it and dream it, believe it. I can do it. I can do it. Think it, dream it, believe it. Do it. Think it, just dream it. Believe it, I'm gonna do it. Think it, just dream it. Believe it, watch me do it. Think it, just dream it. Believe it, do it. Think it, I can do it. Dream it, I can believe it. I can do it. Do it. Think it, I can do it. Dream it, I can believe it. I can do it. Do it. Do it. Think it, I can do it. Dream it, I can believe it. I can watch me. I can do it. Think it, dream it, believe it, do it.
We have within us a power that is greater than anything we shall ever contact in the outer, a power that can overcome every obstacle in our life. Ending this service as we began for the collective, I say thank you. Thank you, Spirit, for reminding us that what looks like a mistake is merely a lesson, a remapping of our internal GPS. Because there are no mistakes and therefore nothing to fear. Thank you for our creativity and imagination as we build on our dreams in the flow of the divine mind, where enthusiasm, love, joy, well-being, creativity, delight eternally live. We are indeed blessed to have this day, our yesterday, and all of our tomorrows, rewarded by our interconnectedness. We are simply blessed, and we know it, and we appreciate all we have and all we are capable of being when we accept who we are and whose we are. And on these and multiple other gratitudes, and from a place of courage and expectancy for our future successes, we lift these words into a law that always says yes, automatically and impartially. And there we release them. And so it is.